My name's David Smith. I live on the south coast of England, and I was diagnosed with prostate cancer in 2004. When I was first given the diagnosis that I had prostate cancer, and a very aggressive one, was one of surprise. Because I said to the urologist, "Are you sure that the results haven't been mixed up with somebody else?" And he said, "No, I can assure you."
My name is Roll Price. I was diagnosed 2003 at the age of 50. Had the operation in October 2003 also. When I was diagnosed with prostate cancer first, I was so shocked, so devastated. I mean, when the doctor said, you've got prostate cancer, you only hear the word cancer. You don't hear anything else.
I'm Ray Marsh. I'm a Welshman now living in Winchester, England, and I was first diagnosed with prostate cancer in 2002. When I received the diagnosis of prostate cancer, it wasn't with despair, because I'm not that sort of person. It wasn't that I was going to conduct a crusade, as some people do, against it. It was, quite frankly, firstly a disappointment, because I'd always been very fit and active up until that point, and that I felt that I was indestructible. So it was a bit of a disappointment to me as much as anything.
By the way, I'd done a bit of internet research, and it was either prostatitis or BPH. You know, there was no chance of cancer. I had a low PSA and everything. So when the urologist said to me, he said, "You have one of the most aggressive cancers with Gleason's 8s and 9s, and your survival rate isn't particularly good," I have to say I was surprised.
You know, you think you're going to die straight away, because cancer is, at that time, was a death sentence. But then survival mode takes over. You just want to live. You really want to live. You want to, I mean, with me, I just wanted it out of me. You know, what's this thing, cancer? My God. Well, the next few days I had to sit down and take it in myself. I mean, I actually didn't tell anybody for a couple of days, because, you know, I was really, really shocked. You know, having cancer. I mean, if he'd said you got a bad leg or you got a bad foot, that would be easy to take him, but the word cancer overrides everything.
The family of a man with prostate cancer are very important, and the way that they deal with it is very important. Worrying, I have to say, does not help. It just increases the person's anxiety. So if they can keep the worry level down and just encourage him to go forward, and if it's a black day because the advice or the prognosis wasn't very good, keep the encouragement coming.
Also, I found the radiologist and also the receptionist at the particular hospital I went to were very jolly. It made a big difference. The receptionist in particular relieved any possibility of a morbid atmosphere by being very jolly and telling jokes, and it made quite a difference to the whole atmosphere there.
I had a family wrapped around me who were interested in my diagnosis. I had said I'm going to the hospital, but what I'd said to them was that it wasn't going to be cancer. It was going to probably an enlarged prostate, and I would have some pills and it would be all right. Now, I suppose for me that was the biggest challenge I found, is not so much accepting it myself, but having to now tell my girlfriend, who's now my wife, that, you know, I had a very aggressive thing. And my boys, my two boys, who were obviously very concerned. I found the most useful thing, and I know it sounds a bit nerdy, but it's been the internet and the availability of gold standard information, side effects, treatments, you name it, and I could get a hold of the best papers coming out of eminent universities like Johns Hopkins, Houston, British Journal of Medical Science. All of those were available to read, and that I have to say has helped me enormously. Later on, when I joined the charity that I now work for, they were very helpful in steering me to various papers and treatments that I could possibly take.
I believe the very first book I looked at was called The Idiot's Guide to Men's Health. And from then I've read other books on prostate cancer. I've been on the internet. I mean, a lot of stuff there's so much stuff on the internet.
It was very helpful in the days of biopsy and initial diagnosis to speak to senior members of the prostate cancer support group who were not only prostate cancer sufferers themselves, and so that they'd been through it, so they had their personal experience, but having been through it themselves, they'd made themselves very knowledgeable on the aspects of cancer from the patient's point of view and how he can use the NHS to get the best possible treatment.
For me personally, the answer of talking with other people with prostate cancer, not particularly, because, you know, my condition is different to theirs. You know, you can give sympathy or you can do whatever, you can give encouragement to people who have prostate cancer, and you can even steer them in the right direction. But nevertheless, you know, it's a personal course that I take, and so it won't be the same as somebody else's.
Helped me a lot to understand the problem of men with prostate cancer and why they're not coming forward, because they might not be the persons who go to doctors. I was a person who would, not for any and everything, but I was glad I did go forward when I was diagnosed, really.